On this episode of Project Used Bikes, I let someone other than me fix a bike. So it's finally spring, and we've all been getting out for some bike rides. At last, we're all so happy. And we actually managed to film the last one, and I posted the video recently. It's on my YouTube channel, and you might have seen me doing some stuff like this. Perfect, I nailed that one. So I wanted to use this episode of Project Used Bikes to introduce all the guys in that video. They're all local riders. Alex works at the bike shop, and the other two are like regular customers and good friends of mine. So they're going to be in a bunch of future episodes of Project Used Bikes, because I plan to keep making a bunch more episodes in this series. William's been riding with us for a few years, and he goes through a bunch of bikes. He destroys them. There's something about this guy. He's indestructible. Like, he can take the craziest fall, he'll get up, laugh it off, and keep riding. It's a ton of fun to ride with him, and everything's always fun with him. He's not one of those riders that complains, you know? He's just always fun to ride with. Matt is a very experienced cyclist, but he rides on the road, and he uses his bike for utility purposes. He commutes with it. He's the guy who attaches car horns and actually wires them up with batteries to the bike. So he's very audible and very safe in that way. I digress. He has a lot of bike handling skill in terms of riding on the road and predicting traffic and being safe in that way, but he's completely new to freestyle. So in the video that I posted, he's mostly just filming. He doesn't really ride much in it. He's just kind of learning how to bunny hop. But you're going to see a lot more of him in a few future episodes, because he does a lot of the used bikes just like I do. His collection is a few beaters, but mostly old vintage bikes, because they're easy to get, they're affordable, easy to get parts for, and real easy to work on and maintain. And so I agree with him on that way. Good choice on those bikes, bud.
Yes, baby.
Alex is probably the one you're going to see the most of. He's the other mechanic at Cyclepath. He's been working with us for a few years, and he's kind of a freestyle rider, but he's more of like an aggressive mountain biker. He does some crazy lines, like downhill type stuff on a bike that's not built for downhill. He really pushes the limits of his bike. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about later in this episode. He does something special to his bike.
Like in here for the whole time, or? Oh no, we're gonna be moving around. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I gotta learn how to do it. Oh. That was nuts. Yeah. Woo.
So when I talked about Alex beating up his bike a lot, this is what I meant. So this is the front wheel from Alex's bike. One side of the hub is beat up, but reasonably intact. It's functional. It looks like this. The other side of the hub is completely exploded, and it was, honestly, I suspect like that before the last ride, because it was really shaky that whole ride. And it looks like this. yeah, that's not savable. We can't fix that. But we like that rim. The rim's in good shape, and all the spokes are fine, and we happen to find a hub that is the exact same measurements, so we can just reuse all the spokes. Alex works at a bike shop. He wanted to learn how to lace wheels. He should learn to lace on his own bike, so he did.
New hub.
Going along with the whole street ride theme, this is the project bike I'm working on right now. It's an Encore Octave, and Encore was a small budget Canadian brand of BMX bikes that was around for a few years. I think this bike retailed for like $300 Canadian, so it's a bare bones basic BMX. There's really nothing special about it, but it actually still has a ton of potential, and I want to kind of showcase some of that. This bike's been sitting for a long time, so it was really neglected, but it's overall in pretty good shape, so it's going to take a little bit of TLC, but not a ton of real work to get it running properly. It's got a little bit of rust, but it's mostly cosmetic, so I'm just going to buzz it off on the wire wheel and should be basically good as new. These basic BMX bikes have what's called an American bottom bracket, which is basically the cheap old school way of making the bearings between the cranks and the pedals. They come loose and need to be tightened all the time. This is completely unnecessary. I just don't like the way those stickers look. Using the blowtorch is the quick and easy way to take them off because it melts the glue so it doesn't leave very much residue. The original stem looks to be in good shape, but some of the threads are a little bit chewed up, so I'm going to switch it out for this BSD stem that I have lying around. The BSD stem also kind of justifies the BSD stickers that I put on the bike.
So the only thing left to do is test the bike. When I say test, I don't mean test to destruction, but you know, it's a used bike. It's already kind of beat up. We want to make sure it's going to hold up, so then if we break it, we can fix it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a thrashing if we can.
For such a small, cheap bike, this thing actually rides really nicely, it held up perfectly, and for how cheap it is, I'm really impressed with how good it is. My only complaint is that the bottom bracket is a little bit too high and that throws off the frame geometry, but this bike is designed for riders a lot smaller than me, so it's okay, it's not really a big deal. With a few aftermarket parts and a few stickers, this bike actually looks pretty damn good too. I'm super happy with it. Cyclepath doesn't officially sell used bikes, but just like the road bike that I used in episode 4 of this series, I got this bike through the shop, so I'm not going to sell it for myself, we're going to give it back to the shop. Because we don't actually sell used bikes, we don't actually have it on display, but if we find someone who genuinely needs a bike at a too good to be true price, we'll send this their way.
Next time on Project Used Bikes, I'm forcing a very special guest to ride a bike. Maniacal laugh, maniacal laugh, maniacal laugh.